Hello friends, welcome to Akulmach Live, and today we are going to discuss about quantum computing. Why quantum computing? It's so big a subject. Why it is important for all of us to understand, and something new which has happened. Especially we will discuss about Microsoft. Microsoft has unveiled their new quantum computer, which is known as Majorana 1. The name of this new quantum computer is Majorana 1. Why this is groundbreaking? What is the difference between a normal personal computer and a quantum computer? Let us start with that discussion. Well, the normal computer basically manages your commands, your inputs, the processing in bits. Each information is broken down into small bits, and then bit by bit the computation happens, and there is a big logic to controlling the bit. Consider bit like a off and on switch. So bit value can be either 0 and 1, and therefore if there are a lot of bits inside a computer, you can actually determine whether it's a calculation, whether it is some sort of sentence, some sort of image. Everything is in the bits. So what happens is that you have been able to shrink everything down to small microchip, and then based on the various structure, the how the elements exist in nature, we are almost reaching the limit of how many bits or how many transistors we can squeeze in into a small space of a microchip, which is like so small. And we have done pretty good job so far. We have done extremely good. We have been able to create, shrink the entire technology down into your mobile phone. We have very powerful personal computers which can pretty much do everything. Like, for example, I am streaming to you, and much more. There are computer aided design software, there are graphics, there are gaming, there are a whole lot of things which are happening. There are simulators. All of this is being achieved by the bits, whether 0 and 1. However, this is the pinnacle. We have reached the highest point, and any more development beyond this point looks sort of impossible, improbable. Scientists have been trying for last almost 10 years. They have not been able to shrink the microchip size beyond the Pentium. Let's look at the personal computer arena. So beyond the Pentium, they are finding it very difficult to bring in more and more bits into a small place. All right, so everything is now Pentium. There is nothing after that. So year on year, Pentium was launched almost 15 years back, Pentium 1, and now we have Pentium 5. Every year there are new names given to the Pentium, and then we continue to use that as a chip for our personal computer. So in order to have a much bigger capability, a much bigger modeling, analytics, especially with the AI, you need a much powerful computer. We know about all the supercomputers in the world. You can interconnect all of them, but none of those things are sufficient if you want to understand the interworking of the universe, if you want to enhance the AI. And therefore this new animal jumps into the arena, which is known as quantum computer. The difference between a normal PC and a quantum computer is that the bits are known as qubits. Very simply, let me explain. Qubits are again 0 and 1, but since quantum nature of the universe is that it can exist in whatever form. So similarly, the qubits exist in either 0 or 1 or together at the same time. There is no way to basically determine that the qubit, the value of qubit will be 0 or 1. Therefore, this is known as superposition. So even with this logic, even if you have a very small chip, a normal microprocessor using the quantum computing logic, that kind of computer will be able to calculate huge variety of permutation and combinations. And therefore a small chip using quantum computing methodology will be extremely powerful and can compute a lot of information all together at the same time at a much faster rate. So this logic has been there. We have been hearing about quantum computer, but then this is very, very fragile, because the transmission of information is actually done by something called electrons. Electrons are very similar to protons. The protons are the massless particle, but electrons are also very light, but they are not entirely massless, but they are extremely light. So these kind of particles, which are almost negligible in mass, are known as fermions. So I'm talking little science here, but then stay with me if you want to understand this in a much more detail. So there are 3 to 4 kinds of fermions, like electron, photons, and also neutrinos. These are all fermions. These are all massless particles or near or absolute, very light particles. So information between the chips, between transistors which are located on the chips, is actually done by electrons. So electron travel from here to there, and then it creates a situation where the value of the bit will be 0 or 1. Similarly, in a quantum computer, what happens is the qubit can be either 0 or 1, or therefore it could be both at the same time. So there are much more different combinations possible. So this is called superposition in quantum mechanics terminology. In science, in physics, this is known as superposition, and therefore the underlying logic of the quantum computer basically try to create a superposition while processing your information. So I think this is the basic difference between a normal computer and a quantum computer. All right. Now let's proceed further and let's talk about what has happened today so groundbreaking. So Microsoft has announced a new quantum computer today, and this quantum computer is known as Majorana 1. As I said earlier, Majorana 1. Why Majorana? Because they are using a different kind of fermion to do the work of electrons. So the fermions are known as Majorana fermions, and why this is groundbreaking? Because in nature, the Majorana fermions also comes coupled with the antiparticle of themselves. So they behave sometimes like particles, sometimes like antiparticle, and therefore quantum computer which are using these fermions are much more stable. The biggest problem in using electrons, because that has been the case so far by a lot of other companies, they have been using electrons for transmission of information. You need to have accurate data, accurate processing power, and therefore the chip has to be dipped in liquid hydrogen, which is very difficult to not only manufacture but also very difficult to maintain at at very low temperature, which is like minus 271 degrees. So in order to eradicate all unnecessary activity, so that the chip, because it is neither 0 or 1, it is always in superposition, you have to bring down the temperature of the quantum computer to absolute 0, very very close to the absolute 0, which is like 271 degrees, minus 271 degrees. So, and therefore the quantum computers cannot be used effectively in all situations. In order to create that kind of setup, you need to actually have a lot of huge infrastructure, freezing capability, etc., etc. Lot of electricity, lot of resources are needed. Not like the personal computer where you switch on and it comes alive and then you can do your things. The difference what this new technology brings, which is Majorana 1, is that they are using the Majorana fermions, which are much more stable, very easy to maintain, and you don't have to basically create those situations where you need to bring the computer, you need to dip the computer in a liquid hydrogen or a very low you have to maintain a very low temperature in order for a quantum computer to work. That means it's much more efficient, it is much more accurate. Now let's talk about the physical aspect of how we can actually start using this concept. So first of all, they are actually looking at building the chip, the quantum chip, on a special alloy which is actually top secret at this point in time. They are calling it topoconductor. We know silicon is used as a semiconductor, but the material on which this particular Majorana 1 will be based on is known as topoconductor, and it is alloy of indium and aluminum. The exact composition is not known. It is top secret with Microsoft, but The very fact is that Microsoft has been able to create this kind of research, and they have been able to announce that they are going to launch Majorana 1, quantum computer, which will be many times faster than even the fastest supercomputer today. It will help us eradicate different kinds of diseases by having smart modeling done for different pandemic, etc., at a much faster rate. So we have seen during COVID time the power of AI, but now using quantum computer, AI will actually become even more more powerful, more understanding, because AI will also be able to process information faster, will be able to understand the logic with which humans are giving command in a much better position, without having to wait for 010101 and flipping the normal computer, because many processing can be done by quantum computer, which is actually being used by AI at the same time. And therefore, whatever a supercomputer do in 2 years, a quantum computer based AI will be able to do it like few seconds. That is the kind of difference this whole thing will bring. So now let's talk about where this will be used. Definitely, this is if this becomes stable, if the technology is accessible by more and more people at a low cost, definitely it will change the society as we know it today. There will be lot of emphasis on things like medicine, material sciences. We will be able to do a lot of modeling around material sciences, how we have to create new alloys, which right now we are unable to do, because there is a limit to how much you can experiment. But using the Majorana 1 quantum computer, you will be able to do all those kind of different modelings. All right. And also AI, I already mentioned, and also cryptography. So cryptography will become very, very important, because as we proceed towards future, our safety, security, our cyber security becomes very important, and one of the key items in basically protecting your information, your individual information, your details, your data, is basically based on cryptography. So using the quantum computer and a combination of AI, if you are able to come up with very advanced cryptographic techniques, then it will actually revolutionize. It will open a lot of doors. You will be able to become a space-faring, multi-planet civilization. All of us, humanity, along with other intelligent animals which are supporting humans today, will become much more intelligent. You will be able to put a chip in their brain, and all of this will be possible using quantum computer, which does not require very stringent resource management, just like the case we have today in other quantum computers that we are using, which is not practical. So if Majorana 1 from Microsoft becomes a practical choice, then it will revolutionize. And Microsoft is putting their weight behind the OpenAI as well, and now they're coming out with this quantum computer. Who knows? I mean, there is going to be a new type of competition between Google and Microsoft that we will have to wait and watch. So a lot of breakthroughs are expected in material science. A lot of breakthroughs are expected in drug discovery using this technology, and of course AI advancements. AI will have to come to the level of human emotion understanding. Probably using this kind of computer, quantum computers, AI will become very, very powerful, and also create helpers for human civilization of the future. So these are the things which are happening, and these are the things that you may expect in near future. This is the dawn of the quantum age. This is a starting point of the quantum age, because now the PCs are going to go away, will become obsolete. The quantum computer QCs will come, will replace the PCs, and we will process our information not in bits but in qubits. And we know that the megabytes is the measure of calculating the strength of our computer. It will be mega qubits or megabytes in future. So overall, it looks very exciting. It looks something which we must wait for it. And I think Microsoft has to give us more information about the Majorana 1. As and when Microsoft talks more about it, we will keep bringing that information to you. So friends, if you have any questions around it, please do not hesitate to send across your questions or your comment. Look forward to seeing you again in the next one. Bye for now.